In a match that had fans on the edge of their seats, the Indiana Fever clashed with the Phoenix Mercury in a game packed with intensity and high stakes. Caitlin Clark's leadership on the court was evident from the outset, as she took charge and set the tone for her team. The Mercury entered the game with confidence, bolstered by recent performances and the strong presence of DeWanna Bonner. However, the Fever had a point to prove, and their focus and preparation were clear from the opening moments. This game wasn't just another addition to the schedule. It carried an extra layer of tension that had fans anticipating something extraordinary. From the start, it was clear that the Fever had something to prove, while the Mercury aimed to maintain their momentum. Both teams brought energy and determination, but the Fever's early dominance sent a strong message. Clark's ability to dictate the pace and energize her team was impossible to ignore, setting the stage for a night that fans wouldn't forget. The drama before the game. Tensions were already high leading up to tip-off, fueled by reports of intense Mercury practice sessions and whispers of internal friction. DeWanna Bonner, known for her clutch performances, had been in the spotlight, adding an extra layer of expectation for Phoenix. The Mercury appeared confident, perhaps overly so, with some speculating that their focus on individual achievements might have left them vulnerable as a unit. Meanwhile, the Fever kept a low profile, using the lead-up to fine-tune their strategy and channel their recent frustrations into motivation. With both teams coming into the matchup with something to prove, the atmosphere was electric. Fans could feel the weight of what was at stake, as the rivalry seemed ready to ignite before the ball even hit the floor. Fever come out firing. The Indiana Fever wasted no time asserting their dominance, taking control of the game with precision and purpose. Caitlin Clark was in complete command, orchestrating plays with a confidence that left the Phoenix Mercury scrambling to keep up. The Fever's ball movement was seamless, creating open looks and opportunities that they capitalized on without hesitation. Every player seemed locked into their role, executing the game plan with efficiency and intensity. Defensively, the Fever were just as relentless. They applied constant pressure on the Mercury's key players, cutting off passing lanes and forcing turnovers. The Mercury struggled to establish any rhythm, as the Fever's defensive rotations left no room for easy scoring opportunities. DeWanna Bonner, who has been a consistent offensive threat, faced aggressive coverage that limited her ability to impact the game early on. On the offensive end, Clark's ability to dissect the Mercury's defense was on full display. Whether pulling up for deep shots, driving to the basket, or setting up teammates for clean looks, her performance was nothing short of masterful. The Fever's ability to push the tempo kept the Mercury off balance, allowing them to build a lead that steadily grew with each possession. The intensity on the floor was matched by the energy from the Fever bench, whose enthusiasm fueled their teammates and added to the Mercury's frustrations. The Fever's confidence only grew as they executed their game plan to near perfection. Their physicality and determination set the tone for a game that was quickly slipping out of the Mercury's control. The turning point: Mercury lose control. The Mercury found themselves struggling as mistakes started piling up in the second quarter. A string of missed shots and turnovers disrupted their momentum, giving the Fever opportunities to extend their lead. The frustration on the Mercury's bench was evident, with players visibly upset as they failed to find answers to the Fever's relentless pace. DeWanna Bonner, known for stepping up in critical moments, appeared out of sync, unable to create the spark her team desperately needed. Adding to their woes, miscommunication on defense allowed the Fever to exploit gaps and create high-percentage scoring chances. Caitlin Clark, in particular, capitalized on these lapses, punishing the Mercury with quick decisions and precision plays. The Fever's relentless approach seemed to rattle Phoenix, who found themselves unable to regain their footing as their game plan unraveled. The tension escalated further when a technical foul against the Mercury shifted the game's energy. The call added fuel to the Fever's momentum, and the team wasted no time turning the situation in their favor. The Mercury's attempts to mount a comeback were met with continued resistance from a well-prepared Fever squad that showed no signs of letting up. As the errors mounted, frustration boiled over for Phoenix, and their confidence appeared to wane with each passing play. Caitlin Clark's historic performance. Caitlin Clark showcased an extraordinary level of skill and court awareness that left fans and players alike in awe. Her ability to adapt to the Mercury's defensive pressure was unmatched, as she seamlessly shifted between scoring and creating opportunities for her teammates. Whether it was a perfectly timed three-pointer or a decisive pass that led to an easy basket, Clark's precision and confidence were on full display. Throughout the game, Clark demonstrated an uncanny knack for reading the defense and exploiting weaknesses. Her shooting from beyond the arc was nothing short of exceptional, sinking deep shots that silenced the Mercury's attempts at a comeback. Even when faced with tight coverage, her ability to create space and finish plays highlighted her offensive versatility. Clark's dynamic play extended beyond scoring. Her leadership was evident as she directed traffic on the floor, keeping the Fever's offense fluid and unpredictable. She consistently made quick decisions under pressure, finding the open player or attacking the lane with determination. Defenders struggled to keep up with her pace, as she dictated the flow of the game with a level of composure that belied the stakes. Her defensive contributions were equally impactful. Clark disrupted passing lanes and applied consistent pressure, making it difficult for the Mercury to establish any rhythm. Her relentless effort on both ends of the court energized her teammates and set the tone for the Fever's dominant performance. The crowd couldn't help but erupt with excitement as Clark continued to deliver highlight-worthy plays. Each possession seemed to build on the last, as she pushed the limits of what was possible and left no doubt about her influence on the outcome. Fans were treated to a level of basketball that is rarely seen, with Clark proving why she is regarded as one of the most promising talents in the league. Instant karma for the Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury entered the matchup with visible confidence, but as the game progressed, their lack of preparation for the Fever's intensity became glaringly obvious. The Fever came out with a chip on their shoulder, capitalizing on every mistake Phoenix made and turning them into scoring opportunities. The Mercury's struggles were compounded by their inability to adjust, leaving them vulnerable to the Fever's aggressive play on both ends of the court. Caitlin Clark's performance underscored the sharp contrast between the two teams. While Clark maintained poise under pressure, the Mercury faltered, with sloppy ball handling and defensive lapses that gave the Fever the upper hand. Frustration set in as the Mercury found themselves overwhelmed by a relentless opponent that seemed one step ahead at every turn. The disconnect between Phoenix's players became apparent as the game unfolded, with miscommunications leading to wide-open looks for the Fever. DeWanna Bonner, usually a steady force for the Mercury, struggled to find her rhythm, as the Fever's defense smothered her at every opportunity. Without consistent production from their key players, the Mercury lacked the spark needed to stay competitive, and their attempts to rally fell flat. Adding to their troubles, the Mercury's energy seemed to dwindle as the Fever gained confidence, feeding off each turnover and missed shot. The Fever's bench added to the pressure, keeping the momentum firmly in Indiana's favor. Phoenix's attempts to regroup were met with continued resistance, as the Fever exploited every opportunity to widen the gap. What stood out most was how the Fever thrived on the Mercury's missteps. Instead of slowing down or letting up, Indiana pressed harder, turning the game into a showcase of their determination. Each possession highlighted their readiness, while Phoenix struggled to regain control. The crowd erupts, Fever dominate. The crowd's energy reached its peak as the Indiana Fever executed one remarkable play after another. Each basket brought an explosion of cheers, with fans completely immersed in the team's commanding performance. The Fever's dynamic offense and suffocating defense ignited a palpable excitement in the arena, creating an atmosphere that fueled the players even further. Caitlin Clark, in particular, became the center of attention as her precision passing and clutch scoring gave fans reason after reason to stay on their feet. The synergy between the Fever's players and their supporters was undeniable. Every steal, block, and perfectly executed fast break seemed to energize the crowd more, turning the game into a celebration of everything the Fever were doing right. What made the night even more special was the sense of unity within the arena. Fans were not just spectators. They became an extension of the Fever's effort, roaring with approval at each display of hustle and precision on the court. The atmosphere was electric, amplifying the pressure on the Mercury as they struggled to respond to the Fever's relentless attack. As the Fever continued to build their lead, the noise in the arena reached deafening levels. Caitlin Clark's deep three-pointers and perfectly executed drives to the basket elicited cheers that echoed throughout the venue. The Fever's defensive stops brought roars of approval, as fans celebrated the team's ability to shut down the Mercury's star players.